way too early for the fake. This that real game for real bros. No decaf, no cap. Welcome to Shogun Bros, no decaf. Live every weekday, 6:30 in the morning, Central Time. Did you hear what I said? Central Time. We talk dogs, stud line building to yard work, from stud talk to the truth behind the pups. This ain't no highlight reel. It's how you really build legacy. Shogun Bros, no decaf. Pull up, pull up, handle yours. This ain't just content. It's culture. Welcome to the cookout with TOYO, where family vibes meet front porch truth. No scripts, no filters, just heart, heat, and hot plates. Ooh. Step up with elevated perspective, with elevated game for grown men and women building mind, spirit, and vision. And men at work with pimps over simps. Choice. Real convos, no cap, all purpose for the men behind the mission. 3 shows, 1 network, all gas, no decaf. Put no creamer in my man. Look, Shogun Unlimited, man. Press play and get man. Come on, press play, press play.
Yeah, we live.
Yes, sir. Salute, salute. Supreme.
Yeah.
Oh, Big Dre. Salute.
Yo.
Dre, y'all was cooking over that junk. Y'all was cooking it. I was over that junk. Y'all cooking. Big A had the junk rocking over there. Hey, salute bulldog community.
Hey, yes,
Hey,
sir.
shit. Today, shit. I think you know, is you gonna drop the link, bro? Because you know, I think Welsh gonna bring some special stuff to put on the grill today. A couple other guys might have wanted to put some things on the grill today. I know y'all tired of my just cooking the hot dogs and the Murray steak burgers, but they always here though. But some dudes gonna come through with some steaks and stuff today. So yeah. You drop that link in the chat for them. Let's see if they still trying to come in and tell us some things, because I like listening. Y'all was cooking.
Yeah.
Well, Hemi, Big Tony, City Boy,
sir.
My bulldog brother Dickie, salute.
Salute.
Yes, sir. Oh man,
City boys.
come on, salute.
Hey.
Salute the queen. Salute the queen. I told hey, I seen you at when they gonna drop the TOYO ones. I'm leaning on them now. They acting like I don't know what's going on, queen. I'm waiting for them to drop the jumps. Yeah. Mike Dan.
Yeah.
JB.
Mike Dan with the plan.
Yeah. Big JB. Hey, drop that link. Drop that link. Oh, you already did?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we producing, man. We producing.
Yeah.
Real talk.
School crab.
Hey, glad you be kicking with us this morning, man.
JT, salute.
JT, man. All that work, that 12-hour shift ain't no punk, boy.
Yay.
So you need anything pulled up on the screen, anything like that, bro?
Nah. I want to salute Mr. Hampton though. So if you can pull up if you can pull up Johnson's Rage, Miss Rage. Can you pull up Miss Rage? I think it's Johnson's Miss Rage. And all right, now go to her siblings, right? And see if you see a dog named Axel. That's Axel?
Yeah.
All right. Salute, Mr. Hampton. That's the stuff. That's what Pops and them used to have. That right there. That's what Pops used to have right there. That's
Mr. Arliss Hampton was the owner of this animal. I knew him quickly, and my brother Don. We were around him when we were kids. the Hamden boys. R.I.P. Mr. Ham.
And that was Pops. That was Pops. Him and Pops was like brothers. You dig what I'm saying?
That was that's what your pops used to have?
No, that's Pops Kennel Park. You know Pops that be on the joint. That's what they used to run. They used to run that. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So they had that dog. You know, they had that dog. So that's what Pops stuff be. You know, that's what Pops be working with. He still be having that type thing going. So
he still be having it going today.
Yeah, he still all this stuff go back to that type stuff. You dig what I'm saying? So that's what he had.
Nice work. Nice work.
You got some of that there, huh?
Oh, you already know I played with it. Once he gave it to me, I played with it. You dig what I'm saying? That's what it is. So yeah, salute Mr. Hampton. Yeah, salute your family and all that. If you out there, whatever. And you know, that was a good dog. That dog used to throw good dogs, straight mouth. That's why I always used to tell everybody that's what this where that mouth come from in the gang right here. You know what I mean? When I talk my shit, whatever, I don't be doing shit though. But yeah, that so Pops was, Pops had a lot of product off this dog right here, and a lot of blends off of it too. But yeah, with them people, with who else up on the grill? I mean, with the boys that they coming in to cook on the grill today. What the chat talking about? I'm gonna see what they talking about.
Yeah, they ain't never on time. Nobody ever on time to the cookout. You know what I'm saying? Everybody show up.
Salute, Fat Bill. Salute.
Fat Bill, salute.
Mr. Bill rocking with us this morning, man. That's what I'm talking about, bro.
Yeah, Bill be rocking with us for real. That's third. Yeah, the link is in the chat. If anybody want to come up and talk to us about, anything your dog experience and all that, like we had the cookout, man.
If y'all brave enough, come on here, man. Come on.
Huh? We had the cookout, so the grill is open. You put your own stuff on the grill or whatever. I just got regular hot dogs and Murray steak hamburgers today. Well, come on in, man. From that thing you said you was gonna bring to the grill. Nah, you can put some seasoning on Supreme. I know you got some seasoning in your back pocket. You can put some seasoning on whatever. Yes, sir.
Hey, so what does it look like to start from scratch?
Ooh, I would assume a female, because it might be hard to start from scratch with a male.
Would you get rid of your stock, or would you keep your stock and just start over and just let your stock live it out?
It depends on how bad it is. It depends on how bad the stock done got. If the stock done, if I don't see the same, like if the dog don't act the same as the original mama that I started off with, like just like dog wise, like, you feel me, like curling up underneath me, she don't want to do nothing but just lick you for hours and hours, and you know what I'm saying? I'm getting totally different dogs, and they just act like zombies or something like that. I'm scrapping it.
Me personally, and I'm speaking from not having to start from scratch, because I ain't never had a yard to start from scratch as far as that, on that level. If it's working, I'm keeping it. You know what I'm saying? If it's working, I'm keeping it. Even if it ain't producing, if it's working, I'm keeping it. I just don't want to have anything that, from a financial standpoint, I don't want to feed anything that ain't beneficial.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And your breeding program could depend. The breeding program depends on a lot of the jobs you have for the dogs. Basically, what are you even breeding dogs for? Like, that's what type of dogs are you breeding? You know what I mean? Because like everybody could get their dogs off for real. Like, you just got a pretty dog, you can get it off. You dig what I'm saying? So like, it's always different levels to it and stuff like that. But working stock. I guess we were talking about working stock today. I guess we're talking about working stock. So either way, working stock and all that, before you breed, you should have jobs for the dogs, or you should have people wanting your dogs for the jobs they have. Or else I don't know how you even getting any type of data. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta get data to analyze the data to find out which direction you moving. So like, do already have jobs. That's a lot of things I'll be needing to know too. Like before you even breed, do you have people? Do you have people that at these jobs that are in need for the dogs that you have, or do you have to solicit your dogs to people? You dig what I'm saying? It's a total difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, when you breeding, you got a breeding program, and you want people to know you got high performance things. Then you always on the hunt for the open opportunities, the open jobs, the good people, the good hands. You looking for that? That's what you doing. That's what you're doing. Like that's a major part in breeding to me. Like, oh, else ain't no sense you breeding because you basically gonna eventually mess your dogs up, and that's why a lot of lines go dead too. To me, because the things they were bred for, honestly, the things they were bred for, situations became too hot for people. So their best move was to let once those jobs that them dogs was bred to do got to where those uncomfortable for them to, they let their line go retire. They let their line retire, and they wasn't gonna trust nobody else out there messing with it because because the atmosphere. They wasn't gonna trust their things in the atmosphere when they knew it was already being shut down and all that. So a lot of lines just died with the game. When the game got to where though a lot of those good dog owners and good yard havers started looking at the game like, man, it's over. They wasn't trying to put them type of high performance things out there. They let them join.
Real talk.
They buried them things with some champagne and some wine, smoked something with them, and they was like, man, they two blunts, two shots in the air, man. You know what I mean? Boom, boom, boom. That's how a lot of it went down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I watched it unfold just like that, bro. In the era where it was so hard to keep the dogs, you know what I mean? You had everybody, your neighbors, you had everybody trying to get the dogs away from you, and they was giving people so much tougher time, during the Mike Vick era and all these other eras. Man, people didn't want nothing to do with the dogs. The people who you thought was gonna have these dogs forever, man, they didn't even want the dogs no more. You know what I mean? And I seen people just, instead of pushing it off to the next people, I seen people just go ahead and bury their whole line and just go ahead and give it up,
Yeah.
And for some it was the right things to do, when other things are more important in your life, like your family, you know what I mean?
Sir.
Your housing situations.
Mm-hmm.
They were threatening to take all these type of things away from you, take you away from your family, and everything. So,
up in the insurance, making it hard for you on all platforms.
Exactly. So in that era, a lot of good dog men, they chose to just give it up, and shit, some of my OGs, they gave it up. And when I came back around, I started asking questions. Man, what happened? What happened to them dogs, man? What happened to woo woo? Oh man, that shit long gone. That shit is woo woo. So so for somebody like me, starting from scratch is like fighting words, huh? You know what I mean? Like,
yes, sir.
Man, that's the nightmare that we don't want to live. Somebody who has 15, 17 years invested in a family of dogs. Like, we don't want to talk about no starting from scratch. That hurts. You know what I mean? That's heartbreaking.
And but see, that's why I was asking those questions, because it's a lot of emotion when you say that. When you say that, that's an emotional statement. When you say I've got 15 years, 20 years with this line, or you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case may be, that is an emotional statement. So when it comes down to, hey man, do I need to start from scratch, or do I need to do this? That the emotions can take over, man, and it can cause you to be kennel blind. You know what I'm saying? It could cause you to look, overlook things that other people can see. Because that's what really got me into fooling with females. And mind you, I don't have experience as far as breeding. But when I had a male, man. To me, the male was the coldest thing. You know what I'm saying? And everybody was looking at me like, nah. And this is me just first getting into dogs. I run around, the neighborhood that I was in. Everybody's active, the old school way, and all that extra stuff, man. And I'm just running around to everybody, man. Hey, I'm trying to stud them up. Nobody will fool with me. You know what I'm saying? Nobody. They saw stuff I couldn't see. I was so emotionally tied to it. I'm talking about one dog. When you start talking about 15, 20 years in the game on 1 yard, man, that's the emotion. So a lot of things can get, overlooked per se. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Hey man, I want to touch on that. I want to touch on that. What you was talking about, that soliciting thing, man. Like that junk drive me insane, bro. Like it's a difference, man, between like I guess peddlers, solicitors, and just people who have dogs and they're like, no, man. Like so, when it comes to like starting over, like I've had people that were significantly older than me come in because they saw pedigree, and I'm like, bro, like you don't like. Why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? Like why would you? I'm not saying I don't want to make any money off the dogs. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like, okay, I would go where I got my dog from if I'm an old school bulldogger, because the people I went to are 60, 70 years old to get my dog from. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta know what you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing what the dogs are really bred to do. It's just like, what are you over here for? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it's good breeders. Like we show the pin on the screen right now. You know what I'm saying? Find that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to start a foundation, find that. I took a chance on some dogs because I knew the breeders and I like those breeders. But I mean, Fat Bill in the chat right now, TOYO right here, Pop right there. You know what I'm saying? He's showing Pop pedigree. Like, if you're not doing walk around, flat meal, and like the new stuff that I'm doing, like my dogs are bred for that. You know what I'm saying? So if you want that old school feel, go get you an old school bulldog from an old school bulldogger. And because I get emails all the time, and I'm like, bro, like you don't know nothing about my program. Why do you want this dog?
Mm-hmm.
You ain't seen a single Samurai Kennels live. My bad, Toyo. I know I'm pontificating, but just
man, do you? I'm sitting back. It's y'all world.
And so, but nah, it just drives me insane, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, and this is why I say that. All right, you can't judge my dog based on old school standards because my dogs aren't used for old school purposes, or even to emulate to insinuate that they have the old school traits, right? You know what I'm saying? So we talking about building a foundation yard, man. It's people out here they just buying pedigrees, like you said, but it's not even buying pedigrees, man. They buying names, man. It's people that buy a dog from me just because I'm on the internet. Oh, I got a Samurai Kennels dog. I seen him on the internet. I bought a dog from him. Like that's clout chasing. That's clout chasing. Like what do you want? I'm done.
Yes, sir. So starting
Cool off.
Starting from scratch for some people won't ever be starting from scratch because they know something that everybody else don't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
For me, if I had to start all over, I'm going to start all over with someone who has established a family of dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it won't be so much starting from scratch then because those people have already put in the work. You know what I mean? So now it's your job to continue to build on that. You know what I mean? So it could be a fresh start for you, but it's already been established. You know what I mean?
Got you. Quick, can I ask you a question real quick? So, you go that route, your emotional ties to, let's say that you got some dogs that you put, that time into, those a couple of decades. Would you keep those behind emotional ties and just continue your program, like you were just saying?
Well, only emotional ties I ever had with dogs were with dogs that were good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I never developed any ties to dogs that weren't good because how they were bred. You know what I mean? I didn't care if they was from Grand Champion this and Grand Champion that. If they weren't good, I had no ties to them. No emotional ties, no anything. You know what I mean? Like, I had a lot of people to tell me, "Oh man, that dog got it in him. That it's in him." Well, that never meant nothing to me. You know what I mean? If he's not displaying what I need him to display, then to me it's not in him. You know what I mean? Just because it's like I said before, just because his grandfather or his great grandfather or his grandmother was this and that, that didn't make a dog special to me. You know what I mean? So I never developed no emotional ties to dogs that weren't what they were supposed to be. You know, so I'm only gonna keep around the ones that are that. You know, for sure.
That's perfectly said, man. That's perfectly said.
Yeah.
There you go, Welsh. I thought you had something for the grill today. Welsh, that was a good thing you had for the day on the grill. You on the grill today, man. Go ahead, do your thing, bro.
No, I'm just listening, man. I'm listening right now, man. I'm listening. I like what y'all
man,
cooking.
you ain't what you couldn't buy to get out the store. You ain't get the shit for us.
I'm sitting there listening, man. I'm sitting there listening. But no, he right though. He right though. And like I said about the NASCAR shit, it's the same thing with the Cottenham blood also. Look how much of them dogs been bred in the last 5 years. Rather they on time yard and the ones that's not on time yard. Look how many of them look how many litters have been put on the ground from that blood. Between that blood and the NASCAR blood, that's supposed to be the number one shit out there in the streets right now, but it's not. Why? Because what Samurai just said, buying a name. You trying to buy the hype instead of getting the performance.
Hey, speaking of, man, that's gonna be one of our topics in these upcoming weeks. It's in the schedule. It's just we working our way to it. You buying, you buying it, exactly what you just said, bro.
And again, there's nothing wrong with buying it, but again, this community that we in, it wasn't built on low percentage. I don't know if people really think about that, but when we say we know that the APBT is the best dog pound for pound. We know this. It's not a question. Right. It's not a guess. We know this. Now, within the community, within the actual community, again, we can't have 15 to 20 different camps talking about we got the best NASCAR dogs or we got the best Mayday dog. It don't work like that, So moving forward, and this is why I always say I pay more attention to people who's breeding families of dogs, because of course you got to start from somewhere. You have to buy your dog or get it farmed to you, but then from there you're supposed to do your foundation. Those are the people I pay attention to, because at the end of the day, when people talk shit about certain dogs, they really don't have nothing for us to talk about. So you might say, oh, well, his dogs are some shit. Well, them dogs not really his dogs. Them dogs belong to somebody else, but he owned them, but those are not his dogs. You get what I'm saying?
That's how I look at it.
But that's just what it is, and the community would be a lot better, and we'd get a lot more things accomplished. Just imagine we had an actual cookout and we all there, and Big A come with five dogs from his 3-generation pig. Samurai come with a dog that he got 4 generations in. Big Hill come with a dog he might have 6 generations in. That's a different type of feeling and a different type of shit talking, because that's your personal work. Mm-hmm. It ain't, oh, well, I bought the dog from Pitt Island. Oh, I bought the dog from no, that's your work. That shit hit completely different. That shit hit completely different. And that's the type of time I'm on.
They think because they bought 2 dogs from 2 different kennels and bred them together and put their name on the online peds as their kennel name, that it's theirs.
You feeding it, but again, like I always say, because it's a lot of confusion and arguments with that part when it should not be. Because at the end of the day, we can all, well, I don't know how many car people in here, but we all could go build a small block Chevy or small block Ford. It's still Ford if you're using their specs. But if you're gonna custom build a block, to your specs, that's when you can start to put some of your name on it. But if you following the same recipe, you know.
No, you talk when you talk cars, you kind of talking my language. I mean, it's bigger than the engine. You would have to have a whole. You would have to have a whole chassis. You would have to do the whole nine to consider it yours.
Exactly. Look at the dunk movement. You got a regular big body car, and then you got a customized $300,000 to $500,000 car that somebody put together from scratch. It's a difference.
But hold up. See, because when you start talking about cars, then you start talking about how is it put together. Because you see, a lot of people put cars together and it cosmetically looks good. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
I could buy a car and throw some wheels on it, put some tint and some bang in it, and then you saying it's all good. But did I do the suspension?
Exactly.
Did I tighten up the motor? You know what I'm saying? Did I do the rear end? You know what I'm saying?
It's the same thing with breeding. It's the same thing. I done seen a lot of black and white pigs whoop up on these Christmas trees. Yeah. I done seen it. Right. So, you know, it's at the end of the day, we got to stop getting so emotional and argue. We know you got to buy dogs or go get a dog to start that. We know this. That's basic common sense. That's basic common sense, because a lot of people get too offended with that. It's basic common sense. At the end of the day, put your touch on it. That way we can say, well, you got to go get it from him because the breeder don't have it that way.
Right. See,
that's all. That's
the big thing right there, you know, because I'm gonna give these examples right now. I see 1,000 people go get dogs from Floyd Bujo. I see 1,000 people go get dogs from Tom Gardner. And these are the people who we should be getting them from because they put in the work. You know what I mean? And but when they take these people's dogs and they breed it for generation and generation, and they keep on doubling back and getting more dogs, and then they say, oh, we got the heaviest Grand Champion, we got the heaviest Santos, we got the heaviest Bujos, we got the heaviest dagger, we got the heaviest dagger in the world, and this and that. I think it's a lot of it's our problem because we feeding into it. Why would I go to this person who's tripling up and doubling up on Floyd Bujo? Why would I go to this person who's tripling up and doubling up on Garner when I can just go to Garner and get the same thing? I know these people.
Exactly.
I know these people over here. They've cut the corners. They're just breeding 6 months. As soon as their females come in the heat, 8 months, they're just breeding them. Yeah, you got it heavier than this person. Yeah, you got it heavier than this. You're not doing the work that these people have done.
And see, when I say that, people get mad because, like I keep saying, if you buying dogs from, no matter who you buying dogs from, if you buying these dogs and you doing the same exact breeding that the fucking breeder can do himself, what exactly are you doing? What are you doing?
Right.
Tom don't need you breeding Cottonham, Red John, and
called copy and paste.
Trying to sell the same amount of puppies as these breeders who have been in the game for 30, 40 years. Trying to capitalize on a dollar. That's all they doing.
That's all it is, and that's why I say certain people don't like to hear it. But when we talk about certain families and yada yada yada, a lot of the percentage is low. They in the negatives, and they don't want to talk about that. Them percentages is in the negatives with the amount of breedings and offspring that's on the ground. The shit is in the negative.
Oh yeah, they gonna change the conversation.
They brag and they say, you can see some of their work in the 4th generation. Yeah. If you bred those people's dogs generation after generation, you did it faster than them. Yeah, but you don't get applauded for that because you're skipping the process. You know what I mean?
Man, listen to me. I seen a 3-year-old dog that was in the 4th generation of somebody. I ain't gonna put this camp out there. I might send to you on the back street.
I see it every day.
But I said, hold on. I said, what the fuck? I said, hold on, bro. I said, how is that even possible yet? You know, right. And the way they breeding, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, we know you obviously breeding for papers, but
I think more people should shun that type of activity. You know what I mean? And
I've
not
been
feed
saying
into it.
that shit. I've been saying that.
I got a question. Then. So take the papers out the situation, the pedigree, the whole nine. Would you think it would be better to just go off of just, you know what I'm saying, eyesight and what you see and what, you know what I'm saying, off basics, period, before you even consider looking at a pedigree?
I go for eyesight. Me personally, I like to see how a dog move. I want to see the dog moving so I can see his physical conformation. I want to see the muscle twitch. It's a lot of shit I want to see before, because if your dog, how can I say this on this plot? If your dog don't function properly, for me, just like these bullies that can't walk, if your game dog don't have a certain type of conformation when it's in movement, I'm probably not gonna fuck with it, because at the end of the day, that got to go inside my blood.
So I'm saying this, okay? Let's say that something crazy happened. You don't have any papers, anything, and you could go to 10 different yards, right? And you can see, 10 different sets of programs, and you go and you see a good dog that has good stride. He moves like a sports car type deal. The whole nine, got good size, it's good portion, the whole nine. And you go to another yard, you see a couple of good dogs, and so on and so forth. Just off of eyesight, would you take one of those dogs? No papers or anything. Would you rather take a good dog to a good dog? With just off of eyesight of with your experience of what off of vision, would you do that?
That's exactly.
Yeah. I do. I've done it before.
That's exactly what I do when it's time for me to bring in fresh blood into my line. This is my process. You know what I mean? I go and I observe a dog and I say, that's what I want. That's what I need. I need those characteristics right there. But I don't just stop right there. So then I go and I dig a little deeper and I say, okay, what is that dog coming from? Now let me go put my eyes on some more of that stuff. And if I do that a few times and I see that those dogs are consistently doing what it is that amazed me or that triggered me to want to understand it a little better. If I see them consistently doing that, those are the dogs that I choose to bring in. It didn't matter how they were bred. It didn't matter how they were put together. You know what I mean?
So at that point, that's when the pedigree count.
I mean, for me, it didn't matter until I needed to understand the dogs. Yeah, so that's when it started to count. Because the eyesight was enough for me to want to get to know that family of dogs. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you can have a dog that is bred from a stray on the street that performs well. But that's one individual. Just because that one individual performs well does not mean that it's locked in. Those traits are locked into the family. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So you need to come up with a better understanding of the family. So that's where the papers come in then. You know what I mean?
Roger that.
Salute. Y'all cooking. I love it. Y'all keep on cooking, man. Straight like that. Don't mind me. I'm blown. Salute.
Yeah.
What you blowing on, Big Ear?
I still got that white truffle with the RS11 twisted up.
That white truffle be blowing hard.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, man, that's that old school Gorilla Glue cross. That truffle. I want to say that truffle is Gmo and Gorilla Glue crossed together. Both good genetics. When that Gorilla Glue first came out, Man, that was the stickiest stuff anybody had ever had ever seen. You stick your hand in the bag, them buds will stick to your fingers. You ain't even got to pick them up. They gonna
Which
stick.
one? Which number was the best to you though? The
Number
four.
4.
Four. I knew it was the four.
The number 4.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
That
Precious.
fool be sitting there, you be looking at it in the jaw like, man, I don't even want to smoke this shit.
Yeah. Hey, I like what you said earlier about when you said starting from scratch, you would go to you really not starting from scratch because you would always go to somebody that you already knew had a program that you already were familiar with, and that's what we were talking about earlier this week about, it's really about, the man behind the dog too. You know what I'm saying? And that stuff count. It count, man. You know.
Those people deserve their credit, man. They took time to
Exactly.
understand. They took time to understand. They dedicated their lives. They dedicated, things that a lot of people, you know, who they don't have the time to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Hey, salute them super stickers, bro.
hey, man, I never,
Salute.
when people talk down on some of these breeders who have put in everything that they have, who have dedicated their life, you can't just talk down on these people. To me, those are the people who are important to the game.
Hey,
So whatever they do now, they've earned the right to do it.
Right.
Oh, you can't call Tom Gardner no puppy peddler. You can't do it because he's earned the right to be able to do that. You can't call Floyd Bujo no puppy peddler. You can't call the top breeders of the world no puppy peddler because they've earned that right. You know what I mean?
Hey, I got a question. Who
Hey,
that?
wait,
Who that talking?
hold on. Hey, salute the young man with that $5, man. Pow, 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 man. Salute, man. Yeah. What were you about to say, Wells?
No, I was gonna say, you can't peddle your own puppies. If you created a family of dogs, there's no such thing as you peddling it. It's not somebody else's work. You can't put that. That's like saying, okay, if that's the case, that means Mercedes dealership is peddling cars. That means Ford is peddling F-150s.
Yeah, I mean, it's more jealousy because they're selling a lot of dogs and they're having a lot of success with what they're doing. So it's really people that are jealous of them that are calling them these names.
But like in the APB community, like I said the other day, people keep trying to twist the rules, regulations, and the terms to fit their narrative, and that's what's fucking everything up. Because again, you got a young guy coming in, don't know shit, might have just turned on the podcast for some reason, and hear this person peddling pups, and they go look at the website. They don't know how to read pedigrees yet, but they looking at the dogs and seeing that this man's name is in the dogs from the 1st to the 8th generation. You cannot peddle your own stock. Is yours.
Right.
The people that's buying from him every day, that's stacking cotton ham from the 1st to the 12th floor, those are the people that's peddling.
Exactly.
We got to stop switching up the terms and trying to make it fit the narrative.
Say that, man. Say that. That was some good game right there.
Salute to bloodthirst, man. Hey, my bad. Salute to bloodthirst, man, with that 5-piece, man. Tip. Hey, appreciate it, homie. Hey, go ahead, bro.
Much love, much love. Hey, man, that was the great. Sometimes we got to define these words that people are using, and you did it great right there. You know what I mean?
If you really think about it, what other successful person with a family of dogs have you ever heard them call another person with a family of dogs a peddler? When have you ever heard it?
No, I never have.
You only hear from the people who don't have family of dogs.
Exactly. Sometimes you hear from the old school cats who are on who don't like somebody, or they say, oh, he's just peddling puppies because he sells a lot of puppies. But with what you just said, that just put the definition on a puppy peddler right there. How you gonna peddle something that you created? Like I love that
I mean,
analogy that you
I
use.
never understand that part. I never. I
I
mean, if
love
that's the
that
case,
I love that analogy that you use with Mercedes Benz. How Mercedes Benz gonna peddle something that they created for generations and generations and generations? It's
and
theirs.
mind you, remember the name Mercedes. That's a family. If for the people who don't know, that's a family of people. All these cars are people's last names. I don't know if y'all know this or not. All of these chain stores, Walmart, Target, all of these stores, these are people last names. You're buying their products. Rather it's wholesale, drop ship, or they produce it themselves. You're still going to their establishment. So Walmart has supplies, Target has their own supplies. You cannot peddle something that's yours.
I had a young
And
dude. I had a young dude that jumped on me and started talking smack. He had got one of my dogs and stuff, and later on he started talking smack. He said, "Oh man, that bull BS scatterbred a stuff that you running." I say scatterbred. If you look at those dogs, they're bred on a family of dogs for over 7 and 8 generations. How do you think that these breeders made their family of dogs? You think they just use one? You think they just use one ingredient? No,
that's what
they
most of them
established
think.
their own. So when people they ask me, I mean, how are them dogs bred? I'll tell them is constant pressure dogs. And I'm
As
not
you
finna,
supposed
and
to.
I'm not finna go dig into nothing else because I'm in the 8th generation. I'm in the 7th generation. Those are my family of dogs now, and they're not considered scatterbred. They're considered family bred.
Well, again, a lot of people don't understand how to read the family tree, and that's a whole nother topic. But it's again only in the American Pit Bull Terrier community we got to have these conversations, and it's. I'm sorry, but it's fucking sad. I mean, it's too much bending of the rules and terms, and people want this to be this, and it's at this point we need to get rid of we need to call half of the population and start over. Start from scratch. Start from scratch.
Say that, man. Say that.
I know exactly what you're talking about, sir.
Humble these new guys, man, and let them make them really sit back and have an understanding. Ain't everybody is not no dog guru. Everybody don't know what it takes to build a family of dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, but I'm hoping they tuned in, bro, so they can get some of this game.
Get this game, soak it up, and be humble about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of the greats, you see them in the chat right now. Fat Bill, he on here soaking it up. He in here still listening. Still listening to people that might not even know more than him. But he's still listening. You know what I mean? That's what it takes to be a good dog man. You know what I mean?
Salute, Fat Bill. You already know, bro. Salute. Salute, Yuke Young. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right for the super chat. You already salute him? Yuke Young. Salute.
I call him Young, man.
Young. Okay, Young.
Yeah.
Salute, Young.
Yeah. Man. Salute.
Big salute.
Y'all brothers keep cooking this. It's y'all cookout. It's for y'all. Y'all doing it. Y'all sound good.
Still seasoning this lamb.
Yeah, man.
Well said. He wouldn't call a recall on everybody. Goddammit, they need to go back to basics 101. Constant said he second that. I'm listening to him. I feel him. Hey.
Yeah. Yeah.
They listening.
Yeah, man. I wonder what elevator gonna be cooking on, man.
I thought he was. I sure like he was Mr. National or something.
He probably working with the dogs, man. You know what it is when you got, work to do.
Doing breedings and shit right now, I believe.
Oh, that's one right there. And then not only that, man, people got to stop. I heard somebody say something about credit earlier. Who was that?
I don't know.
I don't know if it was Big L. Somebody said something about credit. And the whole thing is with people getting in their feelings. Yeah, you got to buy a dog. Now, as I said yesterday, it's dogs that Fat Bill had. If they didn't end up in his hands, it's a lot of dogs that Gardner wouldn't be able to create. So when we talk about credit, everybody, again, we got to start from somewhere. It's impossible.
I think you was talking about the other day, but yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, if you're not going to create, this is for certain other people. If you're not going to create a family of dogs, and you are the type that feel you deserve credit, unless you putting the offsprings that Chinaman, Mayday, Macho Buck, if you buy a male or a female, whatever the case is, but I'm gonna say male since a lot of people only read the male side of the pedigree for some reason. If you buy a male and you studying him to different dogs and he's making some successful dogs, yes, in a way you can get credit because they came to you, but you always got to remember something. Fellas, before you get your feelings. You did not create that motherfucking dog. So guess who they gonna look for? The person behind the motherfucking dog. But that comes with an if, because if that dog don't have no male siblings, then you might be in a position to where they only come to you. But if you don't put yourself in that position for them to only come to you, then you're gonna be crying for your credit, as most of these people are doing today. And again, we could go back to Chinaman. Look how Chinaman bred. We know the reason why Chinaman is there, but we know Tom is the one who made Chinaman a household name. So again, if he didn't end up on Tom's yard,
Right.
will we be talking about Chinaman today and his offspring?
You got people who didn't respect the line enough to preserve it the way that others did. And those are the ones that are crying about credit.
Exactly.
You don't got it on your lot. You don't have it on none of it on your yard. You didn't preserve it. When it was on your yard, you left it skinny, starving, and hungry. You didn't take care of it. You didn't respect it. Now the next man got it and he built it up and he made it what it is. Now you want some credit. Come on, man.
They know who they are.
Yes, sir.
They know exactly who they are. But you know what?
Yeah. Constant was it was passionate on that one. He sounded like that was experience on the jump. left somebody shit skinny. Somebody left somebody shit skinny and they feed it.
Hey, man, trust me, man. I've seen it, man. I've had firsthand experience with it, man. They didn't do nothing with it. They didn't preserve it. They don't even have a puppy off of it. They own stuff. They didn't keep it. They peddled it. They sold it off.
That should be crazy. That shit is
sold
crazy.
It off to the next person. But then they want to scream about credit. You didn't make those. You didn't give those dogs a name. People aren't talking about it because of you. Let that man who worked the line and established it, let him have the credit for it, because he elevated it. He made it what it is.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
They want the credit for giving they want the credit for giving shots, 5-week-old shots instead of the puppy.
Yeah.
That's what it be. I mean, we again, we all got to start from somewhere, but that public show would be a whole lot different if people were showing up with 3 to 8 generations of their own work. That's a totally different type of vibe, my man. Totally different type of vibes.
Yes, sir. Just take some time, dedication, little discipline. Get it done.
Yeah, man.
So let me ask y'all this then. Let me ask y'all this: if you had a dog, you happen to have a dog on your yard. First of all, could a dog ever be on any of y'all yard without no paperwork?
Yeah. Yeah, I ain't sure about no paperwork.
Man, if it's a good dog, man, no, I'll keep. What? I'm not. I'm keeping it.
Yeah, especially if it's a female. Especially if it's a female.
All right.
I don't want no paperwork until the dog is done what it's supposed to do.
All right. Okay. Now you can't get no paperwork on it. Ain't no paperwork on it, but you just happen to run across a good dog, and that joker good, male or female. Would you ever start your line? Could you see yourself starting the line off of that? Could that ever be your foundation dog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'll say no.
I'll take more of a chance with a female than I will with a male. I'll say that from my perspective.
Me personally, I'll say no because, like I stated earlier in the segment, just one good dog is not enough. Is not enough for me to build a family on. You know what I mean? Sometimes dogs are just good because they got a good master. They got a good owner. You know, sometimes dogs will put their heart into everything they got because they love who's in front of them.
That's
You know
true.
what I mean?
That's true.
So for me, just being a good dog is not all the way enough for me to build a family of dogs on. You know what I mean? I need to see some generations. I need to see some siblings. I need to see some other ones that are from the same combination that are good too.
Okay, well, how there's a man that got dogs. He got hell of a dogs, but he ain't got no he ain't got no paperwork or nothing. He might have paperwork on his first dogs, but he just ain't never had paperwork after that.
Blow my icon up.
Is you even gonna go to his yard? How would that man get them good dogs? How would is he gonna be searched out? Is he gonna be searched out? How do they get found?
I mean, that be them old school guys that's from your hood, your neighborhood, that you grew up around, and you growing up, and you drive past their house, or lucky enough to live next door to them. You've been seeing them black dogs, them brindle dogs, them buskin dogs your whole life, and you build up that courage. Like, man, I'm finna go get one of these.
Yeah, because another reason why these lines seem like they died off too is because if they didn't just get out the game, they definitely stopped giving a fuck about paperwork.
They understood what that paperwork came with in that time.
So they've been stopped messing with the paperwork. So how do you guys get a hold of them good dogs?
Hey,
there go one right there. She ain't had no paperwork. And the guy that I got her from, he told me that the dude won't give him no paperwork. They was beefing with each other after he had already got the litter of puppies from him. That's Midnight Cowboy Niggerino. As a female, I would have based the whole yard off that girl.
That's because it could be it's a group of people that can say the good dogs ain't got no paperwork out there for y'all to look at.
Them is the people who was mostly working their dogs and doing what they were supposed to do with them, and they understood what that paperwork could do to their situation. You know, it was a trail back to them, and they didn't want that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, LKM Bottoms got a question. He say, can we tweak dog aggression through breeding over time? If we do, what will be the cost? What will the cost be? For me, team players that work well with others in the woods is critical for success results.
I say for hunting dogs, you can. If you got a line of dogs that are tolerant, a little bit more tolerant to other dogs. Like I got one on my yard right now, amazing dog. When he's working, he don't care nothing about another dog. All he cares about is the work that he needs to do in front of him, which is mostly the time is with me, you know. So he's like focused on what we got going on, you know.
Yeah.
I think if you start breeding those type of dogs together, that you can tweak the aggression. Um you can breed dogs that have the level of intelligence to be able to turn it on and turn it off. You know what I mean? Are you gonna trust those dogs when you're not at home? No, you don't. No, you don't do that. But you may be able to do it. A good dog man may be able to do it with good observation and good understanding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen him. Who's one of those guys? Robert Carroll. You know, his dogs come from heavy Chinaman, heavy Jeep, and heavy. I think he added one more line to his line, but those are all game dog lines, and he takes those dogs to the woods and he hunts them with other dogs. You know what I mean? And his family has been doing that for generation and generation, you know. So he's bred dogs that have enough intelligence to be able to do that.
Common sense.
Yes, sir. You know, if you teach a dog something early, you know, and you scold him for the wrong that he does, he'll grow up to understand what he's supposed to do and what he ain't supposed to do. You know what I mean?
That's true.
If you don't nip it in the bud in the beginning, if you don't correct his mistakes, and you let him go too far off into the trouble, then sometimes it'll be too late. You can't get it right. You know what I mean?
And Big A.
Yes, sir.
All right. So speaking about the paperwork, just I want everybody to really think about this for a second. Anybody that have paper dogs, and for the people who don't have paper dogs, get with somebody who has paper dogs. And I want y'all to read the paperwork. And I say this in my private group a lot to remind people. On that paperwork, nowhere on the paperwork does it say you have to put your real information on it. I'm going to repeat that again. Nowhere on the paperwork says you have to put your real information on it. I have paperwork on my dogs. None of them lead back to where I rest my head at night. Okay? Right. So the paperwork ain't what's getting niggas caught up. Because the police ain't looking at your paperwork. They on Facebook. You understand me? So let's not focus on the paperwork, because a lot of people that don't have paperwork, that's still getting caught up. So it's not the paperwork that's leading nobody to you. It's your actions and not securing your network around you to make sure you make it back home at night. It ain't the paperwork, because the paperwork ain't leaving out your house and going to the police station. And again, if you read the paperwork, nowhere on there, it doesn't tell you pull out your driver's license. You don't have to put your real information on it. You can put your ex-girlfriend information on it. All you got to do is sign the paperwork. The paperwork is not getting nobody caught up. So we got to get off of that also.
Yeah, back in the day, it was a problem for some of the older dog men. You know, it had been in the past. That when there was no internet, that was their trail back to them. But now that there's an internet, they don't need that paperwork.
It's not even the paperwork. They are at the police station on Facebook all day, looking at people who act like they're in the woods, but they need Facebook for recognition.
And I'm gonna say this: there's a difference from people who don't have paperwork and people who don't have paperwork, but they know how their dogs are put together. You know what I mean? So some people think, they say, I don't got no paperwork, and they can't tell you where their dogs come from. Then you got those old school cats who don't have no paperwork and they could tell you 10 generations.
Well,
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I know one person in particular that didn't register his dogs, but he kept his he did his own pedigree by hand, you know, and every dog on his yard he had, like you said, 11 generations.
The paperwork thing got so big when it came to a lot of people who were new to the game who just wanted to be a fad. Like this question that y'all posted, that y'all pinned. It said, not saying it's right, but people be ashamed when they can't show their paperwork like their friends. And that's true because it became a fad to have paperwork. When you had, I remember you used to go to the market and people used to be out there with they selling dogs, whether it was pit bulls or whatever. And the first question that someone would ask is, do you have paperwork? And do you know that a lot of those people, when they told you they had paperwork, they were referring to the paperwork when they were referring to having the dog shots
Yep.
and
Yep.
rabies and all those things. So a lot of people, they didn't even know what paperwork was, but they was talking about it. Oh yeah, they have papers. These dogs have papers
Yeah,
because they had the shot record, because they had the
Yep.
vet records, and they considered that paperwork. So as long as people got that, they was cool. you know. So
hey, oh, my bad. Hey, we got to wrap it up, man, because we got to go kick it with elevated if that, if y'all got it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But
Salute.
Yes,
Rap,
sir.
rap.
yeah,
Let them make them rounds. Let them make their rounds. Hey, we good.
yes, sir. Y'all gonna make y'all rounds, man. Let them know who you are, where they can find you at, if you want them to.
Man, it's your boy Supreme, man. You can find me in the projects. You can find me on Fat TV. God damn it, if you want to kick it with me, go come to Chicago. But, take care of them dogs, y'all.
He
Yes,
said,
sir. Yeah,
yes, sir.
yeah.
It's your boy Constant Pressure, man. You can find me on
Pressure.
YouTube. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You can find me in the trenches. I'm there too.
Mhm,
In every city,
mhm,
every state from the West Coast to the South, I'm there.
mhm.
So
Yes,
y'all
sir.
come pop it with me, and we making sure we showing these dogs in a good light. That's what it's
Yes,
all
sir.
about. When we post these dogs, we post them beautiful dogs, so people can see
Yeah,
them and say, "Man, those dogs is beautiful." We changing the whole trajectory
yeah.
on what we showing. So that's what it's all about. Much love to the panel. Salute.
What he said.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
What's up, Welsh?
yeah.
Welsh just rolls out. That's what's up. Salute y'all. Salute y'all. Y'all already know your brother Big TOYO. Y'all stay royal.
Yeah.
I'ma stay loyal. You already find me over there at the Big Hill Fam on YouTube. And y'all catch me every morning right here with the Samurai Gang. This is my cookout for y'all. Y'all bring what y'all want to put on the grill. BYOB. Bring your own bulldog. Bring your own beer. Bring your own bottle. Bring your own blunts. Bring your own big girls. Let's go get it.
Don't bring no Reggie.
Yeah, you know what it is. It's your boy Big 8, man. We got that digital dog show coming up at the end of the month, man. Dog of the week. Probably started voting tomorrow, man, because we got so many dogs, man, and they looking real good, man. They looking better and better, man. So check that out, man. And Elevated coming up next. Yeah, we out.
Mike.